Okay, now welcome back. Let's continue our discussion on the six kingdoms. In the previous lessons, we have talked about archaebacteria and also eubacteria. So in this video, we will be focusing on another two of this kingdom, which are the Protista and also the fungi. Okay, so let's go to Protista first. Is a eukaryote organism. You may need to look back on the term analysis of eukaryote, which means this organism has a nucleus and also membrane and closed organelles. Protista can either be unicellular or multicellular organisms, can either be a heterotroph or the autotroph or both. Okay, Protista has a simple cell organization without specialized tissue, and the cells contain a nucleus that is bound by the nuclear membrane as well as other membrane-bound organelles. And that's why it is categorized under eukaryote. Alright, so protists, are divided into three groups, namely the protozoa, the algae, and also the slime mold. Okay, let's look at examples of protozoa. They are the Euglena species, the amoeba species, and also paramecium species. Okay, so you may be quite familiar with amoeba species and also paramecium species because back in Form 4, when we talk about osmoregulation, when we give examples of unicellular organisms, and also when we talk about the life cycle of those unicellular organisms, amoeba species and paramecium species are the common ones, the examples that we use to discuss. Okay, algae, the Chlamydomonas species, and also the Spirogyra species. Okay, Spirogyra, this is an example of multicellular organism. Okay, another group is the slime mold. This is not so common, perhaps, that maybe you're not so familiar with this. This is the Physarum polycephalum. Okay, so let's go to some terms over here. Okay, sorry. Okay, trough. Okay, trough is related to nourishment ataupun dia punya pemakanan. Sebenarnya dia adalah berasal daripada perkataan the Greek words trophos, which means one who nourishes or is nourished. Okay, sebab itu bila kita cakap heterotroph ataupun autotroph, dia merujuk kepada cara pemakanan. Okay, so this is fungi, the subsequent kingdom that we are going to discuss in this video. Also, it is a eukaryote organism. Okay, can either be a unicellular and multicellular organisms as well. And they are the heterotrophs. Okay, heterotrophs, which means heterotroph meaning they cannot synthesize their own food, but that they obtain food molecules by eating other organisms. Okay, so for fungi, they are the saprophytes or the parasites. Maybe the saprophytes ataupun parasites. Okay, are these two terms familiar to you? This one actually we have covered back in chapter 3, nutrition of the plants. Okay, saprophytes ini yang menumpang. Remember that they are not harming the host. But parasites, they live in the host, they depend on the host, they're taking the nutrients of the host, and eventually the host may die. Alright, so fungi ataupun kulat ini, their cell wall is made up of chitin. Okay, chitin. Are you familiar with the word chitin? Back in Form 4, bahagian support and movement itu, we have talked about the exoskeleton of arthropods. Okay, so this term chitin ini pernah kita sebut apabila kita bincang bab tersebut. Okay, so it's actually the fibrous substance yang mengandungi polysaccharides. So that means that's the polymer ataupun the complex structure of the carbohydrates. Okay, yang menjadi dia punya major constituent of the exoskeleton and the wall of the fungi dalam case ini. Okay, so you see, their wall is made up of chitin. Okay, arthropods ini masih ingat dia punya definisi. Arthropods itu merujuk kepada invertebrates. Okay, haiwan tidak bertulang belakang such as the insects, the arachnids, the crustaceans yang ada segmented body, yang ada jointed appendages. Okay, daripada phylum Arthropoda. Arthropods. Later on in the coming lessons, we will come across the term phylum apabila kita go on with our taxonomy. Alright, so here it says the body of the fungi is made up of thread-like network of hyphae called the mycelium. Okay, hyphae ni branching filaments that make up the mycelium of the fungus. Fungus tu singular, kalau plural kita panggil fungi. Okay, mycelium apa pula? Mycelium is actually the network of fine filaments lah ataupun network of hypha ini. Okay, mungkin daripada istilah, it might be hard for you to imagine, but okay, this may give you a better view on that. You can imagine hypha ni macam ni, network. Okay, as it branches off, ini mycelium. Okay, hypha, okay, di sini. Lepas tu, mycelium. So that means hypha ini, hypha yang ada E, plural. Kalau tidak ada E, itu singular. So, hypha ini adalah thin strands of cells that make up the fungus body. And it branch into larger mass yang kita panggil sebagai mycelium. Okay, dia punya reproductive structures. Okay, so you can also go to the sources right here to read on, okay, for your further information. Ini dia. Fungi, the examples, yeast. Yeast ni pun kita common juga bila kita cakap tentang budding. When we talk about this, what do you call that, mitosis kan? Kita ada ambil contoh yeast dan juga agarose species ataupun mushroom itu. Semua ini adalah contoh fungi. So you can see the picture here. This is actually a type of mushroom. Okay, manakala ini adalah yeast. Boleh nampak dia punya bentuk itu. So it's going to reproduce asexually. Kalau dia mature secara, dia akan membiak secara asexual, di mana dia akan membahagi secara belahan kedua. Right, that is the mode of reproduction of the unicellular organisms yang bernama yeast ini. Alright.